Hello and welcome. Today I have Melissa Culbertson on the podcast. I'm so excited about getting to share her. She was actually a recommendation from a friend of mine that was like, you need to have her on the podcast. And so we connected and she did a reading for me. Melissa is a medium. She's also a self-love coach, teaching people how to really dive in and release kind of that inner child and different things and really heal and love themselves. She's also a sound healer at her studio called One that I can't wait to visit at some point. You can only visit it if you live in Iowa in the Dubuque area. Is that correct?
Yep, that's correct. Yep.
Yes.
So,
So she does
yes.
sound healing and among many other things. So welcome to the podcast, Melissa.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on. And yeah, I love this connection that we've been made here through some mutual friends. So yeah, it's always divine, right?
Exactly. That's what I've been
Yeah.
calling in more really interesting conversations and people to meet to bring them on the podcast and share them. So I was really excited about this. Just to let everybody know, my astrology or human design people, Melissa is a Scorpio rising. She has an Aquarius moon and sun in Aries. And very interesting because she is a psychic medium. She is very connected to spirit. She does have Uranus conjunct her ascendant, which is kind of, giving her that lightning speed connection. And also Neptune trining the sun, which Neptune always feels like a high octave of Venus, but also very connected to spirit. And she's a generator in human design. So just making sure that sacral is lit up and excited about whatever she's going for. She is a 5-1, which is why she's such a good self-love coach. I always think of the profile 5-1 is like the 5 lines. They know how, like, I can help you. As long as they're setting correct boundaries, they make the best coach because they're like, oh, I just want to get you. I can see where you should be. I just want to get you there. And then that one line really helps dive deep into having a really strong foundation of, knowledge and all of the things. And then she's the cross of endeavor. And this is one I haven't had on the podcast before. The endeavor is really like an entrepreneurial spirit. Like it has to pave new pathways. It can't do the status quo. It can't kind of sit back and let things that aren't working be, just kind of let them be. It's like, let's find a new way. Let's find a new path. You
Yep.
do have sun in the 21 with your earth there in the, if we're looking at like GeneKeys or gates in the 48. And so you're always kind of overcoming control and inadequacy. And when you get to the high of that, it's like somebody that has authority and can really take care of people and lead them to the right path, but also having that resourcefulness, that deep well of wisdom that you always have, right? So yeah, that's kind of your your design in a nutshell.
Yes, and that was so interesting. Thank you so much for that reading. Yeah, it really helped me understand myself even more. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
fun. I always think it's fun to see. I always think of us as these spirits on the other side, and we're like, this is what we want to accomplish. And we're like, okay, here's our gifts, here's our hurdles. We're going to go in and do it. And then we forget everything and we have to like figure it out.
Yes. Like everybody needs to have one of these readings too. It's so helpful, especially if you're really feeling stuck and not sure, what direction to go in life too. I think it's so,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. For me, it
beneficial.
always gives something to work with because a lot of times I hear like, do the work or work with your shadow or, like these kind of buzzwords. And I was always
Yeah.
like, well, where do I start? And so this always
Yeah.
gave me like a jumping off point to like, oh, let's look here. Oh, let's work with this. So not
Yep.
everybody needs that. I think some people can just sit and wait for a trigger and
Yeah.
work through it and but people like me, I'm like, let's do it faster, let's get there, let's
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And I think a lot of people are like that too. Like, where's the easy button,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, yeah. Let's go straight
Yeah.
to the source.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
so tell me, I mean, everybody listening, I mean, if people don't know what a medium is or what a medium does, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Yeah. So I help people connect with their loved ones that have crossed over on the other side. I can also help tap into those that are living as well. So, just kind of an example, I recently have somebody that their loved one is in the hospital in a coma state. So, actually, kind of help this person to, okay, what are my loved ones' needs and what do they need to work through on a spiritual level too? So, actually, I'm able to help the family work through this and give some validation too to all these things. I always like to make sure that there's validation to back things up with the information I provide as well. So yeah, connecting with angels, spirit guides, higher power, God, the angels, all those special energies. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And you were kind enough to give me a reading, and I can tell you that, Melissa is the real deal. I have a very high bar for psychics because my grandmother was an amazing psychic. And so I grew up just seeing the power of being able to just give her a name and she could tap in and talk all about that person, or she was just
Mhm.
so good. And then, sometimes you go to a psychic fair or something, you're like, kind of, maybe, so I kind
Yeah.
of steered clear. But I was very, very happy to have like extreme validation, that you were really tapping in,
Mhm.
you tapped into my grandmother, and she the first thing you said was something about draining batteries, which is literally like what we talked about all the time. If she wore a watch, or like things would just batteries would drain around her all the time, just because she took in so
Mhm.
much information or so much energy to do what she did. And so
Yeah.
that was definitely out of the gates. And then my friend passed away a couple years ago, and one of the most important things to him was somebody taking care of his dog. And you brought forth, that he had a male dog and that he was very happy that somebody took care of him. And so those were
Mhm.
two things that I was like, okay, yes, she is
Yes.
she is definitely tapped in. This isn't, like vague could be, because
Yeah.
we talked about this. We're both a little bit of skeptics ourselves,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, yeah, and I think it's healthy to be, I think, because it is an energy exchange too. So when you think about you go to those psychic fairs, yeah, you don't know who you're, unless you know the person, I guess, or I am always a firm believer in reviews and looking at the reviews and up-to-date reviews. So yeah, it's important
Yeah.
because yeah, there's people doing it for wrong reasons too, and yeah, you just have to be cautious. So
Yeah. And that's something
yeah.
we talked about in your chart as well, was that you kind of set up lots of things to have a lot of integrity and to
Hmm.
make sure that you were doing things the correct way. So I thought that was really beautiful to see as well.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's a beautiful thing to get a reading and to observe, the messages. So yeah, I wanted to make it special. I don't take my job lightly. I take it very seriously. And it's not oh, look what I can do. I'm very humble about it. I'm not a showy person. So yeah, it's just yeah, I don't like the ego to get involved with it because it's a true helping tool.
Yeah.
It can help a lot of people. So yeah.
Yeah. So let's just kind of rewind a little bit and talk about what it was like growing up, because you've had this gift from an early age, correct?
Hmm. Yes, yep. So, as a little girl, I could definitely feel things around me. I grew up in a Lutheran church, so, I always felt the Holy Spirit. I felt Jesus around me. I just remember even in Sunday school, sitting on the floor, crisscross and listening to Bible stories and like, oh, Jesus is right here. He's here with all of us, and just acknowledging that presence. I had a lot of deja vu. I had a lot of premonitions as a child. Nighttime was frightening for me. My mom had to, put me to bed almost every night and stay with me because that's when I would get my visits. And now knowing all I know, that's, my brain was, getting ready for rest, being in that theta brain wave, like that's the perfect time to channel. So of course, that's when it was coming in. So, I mean, pretty much having a normal childhood. At the age of 5, I did have a traumatic experience that I feel like really opened up my gifts, and a way of protection too. I feel like people that have this ability, and they don't really understand it, and then something traumatic happens, it does open that door up. You can choose to walk through if you heal yourself. So yeah, it wasn't really until like 2012 where I had my first sound healing experience, and through that I just got this message of like, you're supposed to be doing more. And I always felt that too, like people are going to know me, and I'm like, well, I don't want to be famous or anything like that, but I knew people were going to know me. um so yeah, through that healing, I began to be more open to things. I would see 1111 all the time. Felt like I just needed to, experience more in life too. So things really started to change. My relationships, friendships, all those things started to change and shift and get me into a better position to heal myself. So yeah, and that's a very, I think, important thing too for any kind of healer, is you have to heal yourself in order to really genuinely be there to help people and walk with them too. I mean, it's always a journey. There's always things that we're working on, of course, but for the most part, healing, the majority of our stuff is very key.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's one thing that that you will find a lot, and I'm very careful about is not everybody that is a healer or that is kind of like coaching and some of the things have dealt with their stuff to the point that
Hmm.
that they maybe should. So it's always, but we all also can't wait too long. It's a very fine line of you can't wait too long to kind of start, because you can always offer something to someone. But maybe being very honest about like where you're at in your journey and
Hmm.
and who you
Yeah.
can be there for is maybe the best road.
Yes, yes, definitely. And I've seen my work evolve as I evolve and heal myself too. So it keeps getting better and brighter, and yeah, pretty amazing. So
Yeah.
yeah, so don't be afraid to heal yourself. It's scary, I know. Been there, done that, but it's, you have to go through that. There's so many lessons to take away from those times and that healing. So
Yeah. And what can you tell people, if there is maybe big emotions or uncovering some trauma or things like that, how can people feel more safe or kind of grounded when they're working through some of these things?
I'm definitely finding like a trusted person to work with. That's definitely key, and surrounding yourself with loved ones that will support you through that. But know that you're not alone. Like, I mean, I've been doing this for 9 years and doing small groups. That's a huge thing. I love to do small groups of different capacities. But just, knowing you're not alone. There's so many stories out there, and so many similar stories, that people often think that I'm the only one going through this. And, in the age of social media, we're all super connected, but we're not connected. So I love to see, like, on TikTok and things like that, people sharing their stories and putting things out there. This is just huge. We're going into the age of Aquarius, so things are shifting and changing. People are waking up. So yeah, like get on the ride, folks, and know you're not alone, and just step out of that comfort zone and see what comes to be in your life.
Yeah,
So
I'm always surprised about people that I wouldn't think would connect with what I do and maybe what you do. And I've been having conversations openly and realized that more people are interested and are kind of exploring alternative ways to heal and
mhm.
getting more connected with all of these different things. So I think being brave to be honest, right?
Right. Yes, yes. That's definitely key. Being honest. You have to be honest with yourself, because if you're not, that's always going to be underlying. It's going to be in your system, in your body, in your mind, somehow, some way, and it's going to rear its ugly head.
Yeah.
So unless you examine it, you heal it and let it go, then that's always going to be a part of you. So
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. I always say better out than in.
Yes.
Because people will, I'll just be doing a meditation or we'll bring stuff up and people will cry and they'll apologize. And I'm always like, better out than in, better out,
Yes,
don't
yes.
stuff.
And yeah, that's one thing, like people constantly, I'm like, please don't apologize for your tears,
Yeah.
and that's a sign too of like, well, yeah, that should show you right there that your feelings haven't been validated in your life too. If you have to apologize for your feelings, then take a look at that as well. That's
Yeah.
huge. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a big thing we practice with my kids, not being afraid to feel what they're feeling right now. Even my 13-year-old son came off. He was very disappointed in track meet, a race. And, he's trying to be tough. He's walking and then he sees me and he just kind of falls into me, crying
Oh.
for a moment, like not, but just kind of releasing that emotion. And it's like,
Hmm.
I love that they can be in front of their friends and and just kind of release it and then move past it, right? It doesn't
Yes.
have to be like, oh, my whole day's ruined or anything like that, but you can feel it, move through it, and then let it go.
Yeah, and I think that's an important point to bring up too about your children. I mean, it starts with us, the parents. Parents step up and listen to your children and pay attention to those cues of when they're really hurting. Validate their feelings. It's so so important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. So let's talk about the studio, because I was just talking to my friend today and we were discussing how important it's so amazing with social media. We can be connected to people all over the world. And I love that. But we're not
Mhm.
always meeting in person. And there's something powerful about these small groups in person, and you do the sound healings.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk just a little bit
Yeah.
about, I mean, how did you start your studio and what are you noticing when you bring people together?
Sure, sure. So, yeah, the sound healing, I have purchased, me and my business partner have purchased the same equipment that was used when I first had my sound bath. So it's really amazing how it's come full circle now. We have actually very rare setup, our gongs. I'll kind of start with that. But we have one of the world's second largest gongs. It's a 60-inch Paiste symphonic gong. We also have a 50-inch symphonic gong that's Paiste, and then two 40-inch a symphonic and Earth 3B and crystal singing bowls and many other sound healing instruments as well. But yeah, for me, it was life changing. And being able to then learn how to play the gongs when I worked at the Center of I Am in Dubuque was definitely like a huge part of my own healing journey as well. During that time, my dad had gotten sick and he had passed away. So, yeah, I took that and that was a part of my healing journey with the grief. But yeah, I mean, it's just each time you do a gong bath, you heal yourself too. But it's also so powerful to see it change lives, people to come in for the first time. I hated my first gong bath and it was intense, I will say that. But I hated it because I had a panic attack. It just brought everything up. So when I see that in people, I make sure to like share my story too. Like, yeah, my body hated it. I was in the fetal position. I ran out of the room. I didn't want to come back, but something said, you need to go back and you need to do this. Um, so yeah, I mean, we see all kinds of people come in a lot. In the last few years, especially since COVID, everybody's so stressed and they don't know what to do with it. So yeah, we're a safe space. We do sharing at the end about maybe what brought people there or what they felt through their meditation. And yeah, it's just amazing that, people are work, 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 and they focus on that so much and the busyness of life. And it's like one of our mottos is like one moment, once a day, just calm yourself down, quiet your brain, take some time to yourself to meditate, to clear your mind. That's the most important thing with meditation, too. Like, you have all these things coming at you, and you want to change, you want to heal and grow, but you can't with all the chaos going on. So, that's the beauty of the sound as well. The power of the gongs, it just, your whole body vibrates. You can, and on a cellular level, there's scientific proof that it does change on a cellular level, the blood work. I mean, it's amazing when it does. So, yeah, doing it on a regular basis, people know when they don't come for a week or two, they're like, "Oh my gosh, I need to, I need to be here every week." So, yeah, we're slowly changing many, many lives. We're here every 2 days a week. Every week, we facilitate a gong bath, we call it, because you're bathed in sound, and we do special events like this Thursday night. We've got a yoga nidra, which is basically a guided meditation with the sound. It's beautiful. It's my favorite one.
Yeah, I
So,
guess I was realizing that we didn't, maybe there's people that have never had a sound bath. So
mhm.
maybe we should tell like what is a sound bath. And if you haven't tried one, you should be able to look almost anywhere. It's getting to be something that you can find, right?
Yes, yes, yep. In most places they do have like the singing bowls, which is great. It's all amazing. But like I said, we're pretty unique. My business partner, she was coming 3 days a week when we were at the other place, and it was helping her with her anxiety. She almost died. About 10 years ago, after she had her daughter, she got sepsis, and it ate both of her hips. So she had to have four hip replacements after she had her newborn daughter, and caused her a lot of PTSD and things like that. So it's really helped her. So it's amazing to have her now help others.
Yeah.
But yeah, check in your area, see what's going on. They're popping up, and there's different places to learn too. If you feel drawn to learn, go ahead and check out all these different online places too to learn and use your intuition. That's what I
Yeah.
did. I taught
Yeah.
myself. I've always been musical anyways. It's always been part of my life, so it's easy to learn, and it's spirit guided too.
Yeah, I'm really excited to. We're gonna get a girls' day. It's almost 3 hours from me, and so my mom and I are gonna find a time to drive up and experience your gong bath because yeah, it does sound amazing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've found I've tried it at different places. The first time I think was at a yoga retreat, and
Hmm.
for me, I have a very busy, busy mind. It's always active, it's always on. And so when you do a sound bath with either singing bowls or the gongs, it's like the sound is vibrating through your body so it's just so loud that you can't think, right?
Yeah.
Like so for
Yes.
me, that's what I enjoyed was like the
Yeah.
fact that I cannot think right now. I just have to be with the sensations in my body. I
Hmm.
just have to be with mostly my body because I couldn't hold a thought pattern, which was beautiful, right?
Yes, yeah, and I think, and that sounds scary to a lot of people too. Oh gosh, this, it's so intense, but people have described it as loud without being loud, especially our the size of our gongs and the sound they produce. But yeah, yeah, everybody's experience is different each time too, and that's the beauty in it as well. That's you're each time you're finding out something different about yourself as well. So
Yeah. Yeah. And giving
yeah.
yourself the gift. I mean, just like sitting for a massage or, I'm going to
Hmm.
go get my hair done today. And I just give myself the gift of laying there,
Yeah.
having someone wash my hair, it's funny with women. We give so much that you need to have these moments where you're like, okay, I'm going to receive this. I'm going to just lay here and do nothing. Right.
Yeah. And it's great for both beginners and people that have been working on meditation. I have definitely had a lot of transcendental and out of body experiences with my meditation with the sound. And I'm diagnosed with ADD. So I have a busy mind, and I would rather be playing the gongs than laying in my own studio and meditating. So, but I can, easily pick up where I left off with it. And, another beautiful thing is like you still get benefits of the sound. If you can't shut your mind off through our meditation, you're going to get the benefits of the sound no matter what. You're walking away with something amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so you've got the studio, you do the sound, and then you also do self-love coaching. Can you
Mhm.
talk a little bit about what that is? And
Yes. So I always like to disclose too that I am not a professional, like certified coach. And I've listened to spirit on this as well. I don't want to be put in a box. And I feel like, if I were to be a licensed counselor, that I would be put in some kind of box that I'd have to follow a lot of rules. And I have helped hundreds of people, maybe now almost in the thousands. It's working. And I don't want to I don't want to mess up something that's working. I designed this course based on my own life experiences. Like I said, at the age of 5, sexual abuse had occurred in my life, and took me down a lot of different paths that I look back now, and it makes me so sad that, could have been prevented. But even coming from a loving home with loving parents, they weren't sure what to do with it. So I did feel like I had to navigate through that on my own. So yeah, I mean, it wasn't really until in my 30s that I found that self-love through all these different things. So I just kind of joined everything together that worked for me and put it into this course. So we work a lot on inner child. We do the shadow work. We assess, the home environment, your work environment, because that all plays into our well-being. We work on forgiveness and a lot of self-awareness things. I do Reiki alongside that as well too, because I think it's important to work on, all energy levels when you're working with the self-love. So yeah, I mean, I've helped countless people. Right now I'm working with a foundation with one of my clients' mothers. That my client took my class in 2020, and in 2021 she committed suicide, and she was only 21. So we're keeping Brielle's legacy alive through the self-love course, because she had struggled for many years with mental health, and her parents had really seen a difference in her after she took this course. And they just and how we met is so divine too. Just a random little, we were at a winter or like a fall thing. And we were at a bar just having cheese curds and a beer in Wisconsin, and met her parents, and they asked what I did, and I told them, and end up helping their daughter, and then end up having to give the eulogy at her funeral, a couple years later. So very, very sad. And then her father passed away about 4 months later from a tragic passing. So being able to help that family go through all these tragedies, and then now in turn, help other people that, to prevent these kinds of things. So we do offer scholarships for the self-love course through the Be Kinder Than Necessary program. So they just got a Facebook page up and a website. So BKNT, check it out. It's going to be a great organization for helping people with mental health.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's actually something that's really strong for me, as well as I'm open to spirit to show me the right way to help with mental health as well, because I asked you to put me in contact with my friend that was a Marine and a veteran, and veterans often struggle with mental health after they've served, especially when they've served in Iraq and different places. And the help right now is to drug them, and that doesn't usually work. To lock them up and drug them, and then let them go back out into the world. And yeah, there are so many wonderful things that, I mean, I'm open to trying to find ways to get medicinal, like the medicinal mushrooms and different things that really help, are more effective than drugs. And then I love hypnosis and meditation, and
yes.
and understanding, doing some of the deep dive like I do with the GeneKeys and self-love as well. And so I love what you're doing, to kind of in the same vein. So maybe we'll meet somewhere to bring it to a bigger scale. But yeah, right now that's something on my heart as well.
Yeah, and I'm seeing a lot of clients too going with like the ketamine treatments, and those alternatives. So it's great to see that, and it's amazing the progress that people can make in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I think a lot of these things can be combined. There is some chemistry issues that I think that ketamine and some of those other things help with, but it's also you've got to have somebody kind of help unbury some of the feelings and all of that as well, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I want to talk, we talked a little bit about like, what would I ask a medium? And and I was just wondering if you have found anything that like being able to connect with the other side, has it given you a take on like life and death and any of that?
Yes, certainly. And I don't know if it comes with, being connected, my whole life, but as a child, I feared death. It was constantly on my mind, worrying about when I'm going to lose my loved ones, and just kind of fixated on it all the time. Um, so it's definitely given me more of a peace that like I'm okay. I'm okay with, when my time comes, or, if I lose my loved ones. I mean, losing my dad 5 years ago was certainly hard because we were close, but like I'm at peace knowing that he's okay. And I've had my signs and my things that he's given me to know that he's all right. And he certainly helps me with my work. And he wanted to come like about a year before he passed. He wanted to come to one of my group readings. My parents have always like kind of watched the shows about mediums. They went down to a couple like spiritual camps to like go to mediums when I was growing up. So they've always been into it. So it was really neat to see him like come in and like watch. And he's like, well, how come people aren't like the TV shows? Like, oh, wow. Like I said, it's not like that always. Like it takes a while for people to absorb the information. Um, so that's why I like to have notes. I take notes. I do spirit writing. So that definitely like you take those notes home and you sort things out, and it might take some time. I had a lady in yesterday and she's like, it took me like a good year, but she's like, it all made sense. So yeah. So yeah, it's definitely helped me with my faith, and my, knowing of what we have to, look forward to, but we don't know it all. And I don't think I can even put into words what we have waiting for us. People always want to know, but I'm like, I feel like it's amazing. It feels like so much love, and comfort, but I can't tell you, can't, yeah, articulate it.
Yes, I think that our human brains do struggle to understand what spirit feels, right? Because it's so different without the body and the mind, and I also was terrified. I was terrified of dying, and I was terrified of like death. Like even a dead bug like freaked me out. It was like it was okay if it was alive, but once it was dead, it was like, oh, it's just a
Oh.
shell, you know. And it freaked
Yeah.
me out. And but yes, I've definitely worked through that now too, and practice, I guess, just being grateful to be here and what can we experience, because life can be, it can be tough and it can
Mm-hmm.
be beautiful, and to bask in the beauty. And I thought it was beautiful. I can't remember if it was, I think it was Tom Hanks I saw on a reel or something, and he was like talking to these men in a circle, and he was saying, like your time will come and it'll be amazing. And that'll pass. That too shall pass, and
Yeah.
then something will happen and it'll be terrible, but that too shall pass. And
Yep.
that's just something my grandmother always said, that too shall pass. And I always just think about, we can't think that life should always be the highs, but
Mm-hmm.
so knowing that the highest of high is great. It's like, oh wow, this is a beautiful moment. And then you're going to have the lowest of lows, but that passes too, right? Like nothing
Yeah.
sticks around, nothing's forever.
Yes, yes. And I think that kind of one of the questions you asked, like, what do I want people to understand most, that would make the biggest difference in their lives? Sorry if I'm kind of,
That's okay.
but I'm like, I'm going to tie it into this, but like, stop waiting for life to get better. And I remember doing that too. Like, even when my kids were little, like, oh, when they get older, things will be easier. Well, no, because you have different hard things that come along, right? So, yeah, continue to learn about yourself, keep growing and keep making mistakes. Learn from those mistakes. Don't dwell on them. Don't feel guilty and don't carry that shame around. Just enjoy, those lessons too. And people that come like, oh, I don't know what my purpose is, and I just feel like I'm in this valley right now. Enjoy the valley. Embrace the valley. you know, so there's so much to learn about yourself there if you so choose, and you so choose to move forward and do something about it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I always think about life as this journey, and I love to hike, and I was really obsessed with, I can't remember, is it Wild, the book where she went and hiked the Appalachian Trail by herself, and
oh
I think
yeah.
her mom had passed, and she hiked this trail, and you know that there was like the depths of despair on this trail. There were moments where she was, saw, could connect with her mom and could have this growth, but there was also, lost some toenails and like, and that's kind of like life, right? Like,
Yep.
and it's not to get somewhere, right? There is no destination. There is no end point. It's
Yeah.
just enjoying the journey, and the journey is right now, right?
Yep. Yeah. And if you keep waiting for happiness, then it's going to pass you by, because you're probably living in your ego, and it's not going to happen. So, just learning to let yourself let go and be brave to, work on yourself and move forward and just embrace what is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had really bad panic attacks for a long time. And the book Radical Acceptance by Tara
Mhm.
Brach talks about just be okay with what is. Whatever is. There, you can't change it, right?
Yeah.
And as soon as you're okay with what is, I haven't had another panic attack. Have I had that discomfort rise? Yes. But as
Mhm.
long as I'm not trying to escape it, as long as I'm not trying to, push that boulder even further by going, what if I freak out right now? And what if I, you know, I freak out in front of all these people or whatever, that's where it gets more and more and more intense. And if I just say, I got some discomfort, that's okay. It'll pass. It's
Mhm.
okay. You know,
Yeah.
um, that's probably one of my favorite lessons I've ever learned, is being okay with what is, like not
Yeah.
trying to escape it.
Yeah. And I think, and we're not trying to, like, oh gosh, if you're in pain, or you're dying, or you've lost a loved one, we're not trying to, I don't know, how do I want to say this? Um, pass that off as it's not awful terrible, because when it is your stuff, it is awful terrible
Yeah.
too, and you have to embrace it. And I hate that saying of like, well, somebody else has it worse than me. Well, no, it hurts when you're hurting, like, and it's okay to feel that too, but like, you don't have to sit there in it all the time. Do something about it.
Yeah.
And if you
Yeah.
don't feel like you have the energy or the power to do that, then ask for help.
Yeah.
It's okay to do that.
Energy and motion stays in motion is something I tell myself all the time. When
Hmm.
you feel stuck or you feel like I don't know what the next step is, let's say it is, I don't know how to get out of grief, or I don't know how to start my career, or I don't know how to any of the things, right? Energy
Yeah.
and motion stays in motion. So I always thought it was the worst saying was take one step and the next will appear. And I was like, I don't know what step, right?
Yes.
But the thing is, if you take any step, if
Yeah.
it's like we're always set up with this GPS system, right? And if the car's not moving, it can't reroute. But if you
Yeah.
get the vehicle moving, I don't care if it means like, okay, I'm just going to start walking every day, right? That's
Yeah.
your body in motion starting to take a step, or I'm going to reach out to someone, right? That's
Hmm.
you taking a step, or I'm going to maybe try this career or this thing. And if I don't like it, it can always change, but at least you took a step, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, that's such
Yes.
a beautiful thing that I've been playing with a lot, is energy and motion, because that's where we get stuck, is we're not moving.
Yeah. Yeah. People like to, pity party and play victim, and it's okay to do that for a little bit, but don't stay stuck
Yeah.
there. Find some tools that will help you, and everybody
Yeah.
has their own tools that work the best for them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah.
I will say that human design and astrology has given me a lot more compassion, because I do see, for me, I move on very easily, sometimes too easily, that one of my shadows is forgetting, right? So I have to, instead of just like moving on, I'm not looking, I have to actually be conscious of being in the moment sometimes. But I do see people that like their chart is set up for stuckness or to stay stuck in the past. And not to say that as people should ever, just be like, well, that's who I am. But just
Right.
like the compassion that some people do struggle with this more. And it's okay if you struggle with it, but that's why we're giving some of the steps and some of the
Yeah.
things that you can do, but also have that compassion for yourself if you are somebody that mind always
Mhm.
goes to the past, right?
Yeah. Yep. Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So I know it's crazy. We've already been talking for for quite a while.
I know.
I
So
just
much to
wanted
talk about.
I know. So what is the best way for people to connect with you? Because you do, if you're not in the Davenport, Iowa, and we're both in Iowa. Davenport, Iowa is where you can experience these sound baths. But do you
Dubuque.
do, or
Dubuque.
Dubuque? I'm sorry,
Dubuque. Yep.
Dubuque.
Yep. We're an hour from Davenport,
Yes.
but north. Yep.
All the D names out there.
Yeah.
But so they can experience the center if they live within driving distance or in that
Hmm.
area. But if they wanted to work with you and they are somewhere else, maybe they want to connect with a loved one through mediumship, or maybe they
Hmm.
want to do some self-love coaching. Do you do, like phone calls or online or anything like that?
Yes, yes, I do. I do a lot of phone calls nationwide, so a lot of regular people too that, call in. So yeah, I can do over the phone. So if you go to my website, which is Melissa the Medium at GoDaddy sites, or you can just Google me. I do have a Google business page. I have a Facebook page. You can find me there. I do have a personal page, so if you send me a friend request, I probably won't. Yeah, I'd keep it all separate. So I have a business page and my regular page. So yeah, online websites, and yeah, you can book an appointment there and look at all the different services that I offer. I can do the self love, yeah, through like a video chat type thing too. So yeah, but I always like being in person. It is just so much better. But I understand distance is a thing. So yeah, and then one sound meditation studio is the website you can look at. You do have to pre-register if you're going to come to that because we have limited seating, and we do provide everything. We've got a couple chairs if you can't lay on the floor, but we have like a yoga mat with a nice little air mattress for some comfort. We provide pillows, blankets, bolsters, all those things, but you're certainly welcome to bring your own as well too. So yeah, and when you come to the sound studio, yeah, we turn the lights down. We have like some big salt lamps that light up the room to give that ambiance, and use some Young Living oils for aromatherapy. And yeah, it's a really neat experience, and only $10, and we keep it cheap too, so people can come on a regular basis. Myself and my business partner, I mean, we both have full-time jobs. This is our part-time thing, and we keep it going because we know how important it is. So yeah, we're basically a nonprofit without being a nonprofit, and that's okay. I mean, energy in, energy out, right? And when you put out the good, you get it back. So I mean, we just feel so blessed with the community that we've been growing. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a beautiful service. And I do love things. I've had some biofield tuning sessions as well as sound healing and things like that. I do love that it's actually filling your cup as well. It's a really good
Mhm.
practice that you can give to others while you're still getting that sound and filling
Yes.
your own cup. That's something I do when I do coaching. I take people through a really deep healing meditation that I record. And I'm
Mhm.
always like so grateful to do it because that's when I get the deepest meditation as well as when I'm
Yep.
walking someone else through it. Otherwise, I might just like, okay, connect, connect, connect. Okay, sit in there, feel the love, feel the love. I'm like speed doing it because I've got somewhere to be. But when I'm with somebody else, I'm like, okay, yes.
Yes. And I think that's the beauty too of working with people and helping others. Like, it as healers, this is our calling, and people don't realize how much we get out of helping. People ask me like, how do you do it? And listen to these stories of tragedies day after day. I'm like, that's where I thrive. It's not that I thrive on tragedies happening, but I thrive in helping people in that chaotic state of emotional being. Okay, let's talk through this. I can just give them love and support and guided words from above. So
Yes, I
Yeah.
love that. I was just looking at your chart again because you just like you have this channel, you've got some of the love gates, which are love gates are not to like love personally, right? It's not like
Mhm.
personal love. It's really more spirit love. It's that all-encompassing love that can kind of help with self-acceptance, and you have some of those really wonderful that just somebody being with you can heal, right? That's what I think
Mhm.
we need to remember as healers, especially when your energy is pretty aligned. You don't have to do anything to heal someone. You're not actually healing someone. You're just holding space. You're holding that
Yeah.
vibration, and they can choose to step through it or not, right?
Yeah. Yep. Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
This has been so wonderful. Is there anything that you feel like you want to leave people with, or, just anything coming up for you that you'd like to leave us with, or
Yeah, so yeah, just kind of looking at some of the questions that
oh yeah.
you'd sent me, but what have I learned to value in life because of the work I do? Yeah, our time is certainly precious. I mean, I know it's cliche to say, but I mean, I see and hear so many things on a daily basis that just will shake your world. And to see the people that come to me and they're still standing and going through life, and like it's truly inspiring to me. I always say that, yeah, my clients inspire me all the time. I get a little teary eyed because, yeah, what a blessing to be able to walk with people in those times, and that they trust you, come because, yeah, this world can be such a harsh place that people really need help, and they need somebody that does truly care, and I do. I can give that. um yes. So and do I have more peace because of this work? Absolutely. So, yeah, there's days that are tough, but that all, the love outweighs all of that. And I have a
Yes.
great family that supports me. My husband is amazing. My kids, like, yeah, I mean, that definitely helps things too. So, yeah.
I love that. I love what you're doing. Um, I really do 100% feel the ego is out of the serving with you, which is
Mhm.
something that anybody that serves through spirit really has to a road that they should be taking, right? To like
Mhm.
remove ego and pour through the heart, and you do such a beautiful job of that. You also really have the capacity to hold space for people. So I
Mhm.
just cannot wait to see you continue to kind of grow and expand and share with more people, because you're really walking the path and doing the work, and you have so many beautiful stories that you could share that would really help people. So I
Yeah.
hope you just
Yeah.
keep doing what you're doing, and I love that I got to meet you and be a part of it,
Yes.
and
And the
get a
same to you too. Yeah, I love our connection. I love your energy. And yeah, I just look forward to seeing what else is going to unfold here.
yes.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for sharing. I will put
Yes.
in the show notes all of your links, your community, so that if people want to, join your Facebook book community, or just, yeah, visit your site and
Yeah.
maybe have a reading if they have loved ones that passed over. But I also got a lot of really great things from you, just if I had a question about path. You
Hmm.
did a really beautiful job of helping me with that too. So
Good,
lots of
good.
wonderful things that
Oh, glad you
you can offer.
enjoyed it.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you
Yes.
for letting me do that. Yeah.
Yes. Well,
All
thank you
right.
so much. And until we meet again, thank you for coming
All
on the
right.
show and sharing.
Yes. Thank you.